And welcome to this episode of Healthy Living. This is Dr. Harry, and I'm going to talk to you about how you can become a better human being and improve your job prospects without attending any classes or getting a new degree or even any new certification. I'll also be talking to you about a book club or podcast club that I'm planning to set up soon to coax you guys to become readers, or if you're already readers, even better readers and better listeners. And the focus would be books and podcasts. This episode is, as usual, focused on the Indian context. It'll be especially useful if you have a kid growing up in 2023 India at the cusp of a rapid period of growth. You can introduce your kid or kids that you know to reading and listening to podcasts. This is based on what I've learned in my life so far from personal experience and from my reading about the importance of reading for a better life and the importance of listening to people who talk about their accomplishments in life. Reading essentially leads to learning. Reading leads to learning, without a doubt. And learning is what makes us different from other animals. We were able to stand on the shoulders of our forefathers, on top of all the knowledge that they have accumulated over generations. And then we add our own newly acquired knowledge on top of that, which we then leave for the next generation to utilize and build upon. Animals can only stand on the ground they were born or hatched and learn everything needed for life from scratch from their parents, in many cases, their mother. They don't have the accumulated knowledge from previous generations to build on, nor can they leave what they learned in life in the form of books or digital records for the next generation. It's our ability to learn and pass down knowledge to future generations that has made us progress this much. And current knowledge, updated by us who are currently alive, gets transmitted to others living in this world real time. This ability of ours to get into the mind of other people by reading what they have written gives us immense power to understand things, including what they're thinking and their reasons for thinking a certain way. When we did not have the ability to write, we were handed down knowledge from our previous generations through songs and stories. Then we started writing. The fountain of knowledge started flowing to other members of society and future generations slowly. Only the royalty and the rich could get access to writings in those days because it took humans to create each copy of a written manuscript. With the invention of paper, knowledge started dripping a bit faster, but it still took a human being to create a copy of anything written. And then came Gutenberg and the printing press. And this started a revolution in knowledge flow. It was just like the internet now. From a trickle, it became a gush. More people started writing because there was now a monetary incentive to write. If I write something, somebody else is going to buy it. I'm going to make money off that. So other people in society could buy and read these books. And this revolution created by Gutenberg let ordinary mortals like us get inside the minds of thinkers and philosophers. The rich could finally understand how it was to live poor through reading books in which there were characters who were living in poverty. Until then, the poor was seen as vermin by the rich. When you cannot understand what others are going through, it's very difficult to empathize or offer sympathy. The scientific progress we have made in the last 3 centuries owes a ton to the printing press, without a doubt. The scientifically oriented could read about what other scientific thinkers were working on. Their discoveries and inventions pollinated the thinking of others. So it was a virtuous circle. Now we have access to almost everything that's been published. We have Kindle if you wish to read on a device, and Audible for audio versions of books, blogs, podcasts, and what have you. Of course, I'm not ignoring the other podcast apps out there like Apple Podcasts and Spotify, or Podbean, or anything else. What I want to emphasize here is the power of reading. Reading builds on what you've read before. Each additional book adds yet another layer to how your brain is wired. It's compound interest in action here. Each additional book read builds on what has already percolated into your neurons previously. If you read fiction, you get to live inside the minds of authors and characters that thrill you and enrich your mind. It's like you get the ability to live in virtual reality without the goggles. If you read nonfiction, including books on science, self help, philosophy, and biographies, you enrich your mind for personal development. The more you read, the more you benefit. You learn about other books to read when reading nonfiction, where authors talk about other books. They even talk about other published literature, and they even refer you to other blogs or tweets in some of the recent books. In fact, there's a lot of path dependency in what you end up reading eventually. What you read in the past influences what you now read and what you read in the future. So ideally, you need to read books that have been recommended by people who are considered successful or who are high achievers. You could easily look at recommendations from people like Bill Gates and Naval Ravikant, which are available publicly. I've given links to their book recommendations in the description accompanying this video. If you do not get sufficient time to read because of your other commitments, or at least you don't have time in general because of the way your life is currently, you can always try to listen to audiobooks and podcasts using a headset when you're commuting to work or when you're doing other work, even when you're doing work in the kitchen, even when you're cleaning up your house, you're still able to read, or you can vicariously read by listening to somebody narrating a book. I would recommend podcasts by people like Tim Ferriss, Shane Parrish with the Knowledge Project, etc. Most of these are free if you're okay with listening to slightly older podcasts. As an aside, let me tell you something else. Listening to podcasts like those from Tim Ferriss and Shane Parrish give you an edge unlike any other. They interview people in their podcasts. They interview people who have succeeded in some way in this life. It's always easier to get an edge in life by picking, choosing, and testing things that others have already used in their own life than starting from scratch. Many of these guys may not write biographies, so an interview in a podcast would be the best way to get some of that magic to rub on you too. If you can read an hour a day like this, or listen to a podcast for an hour, or maybe 30 minutes, in a few years you'll start sensing a clear difference in the way you view things in the world. You'll have more mental models to work with when you need to make decisions. You will empathize more, and you'll be more sympathetic to fellow human beings. Your written and spoken communication skills will improve drastically. Your ability to focus will also improve. If you listen to audiobooks and podcasts, your listening skills will improve exponentially. The ability to listen with focus is a skill that will increase your potential to rise up the ranks in your career and even be a better human. You'll be able to give a better ear to people who you are being spoken to. If you read, your children are likely to become avid readers too. When they see you reading and when they see books lying around in the house, they'll take up this invaluable habit. It's never too late to pick up this habit. It doesn't matter what you start off with. You could just read a few novels. You could start with self help books. Whatever it is, you just need to push yourself with the first few books. Read for 15 minutes in the night before you go to bed. If you keep doing this for a few months, it'll start becoming a habit. Also, use your headphones during your morning and evening commute to listen to an audiobook or podcast. Or use your car audio. Use CarPlay, Android Play, whatever. That'll be another good way to initiate a reading habit. It does not matter if you do not understand the meanings of all the words. Keep reading. Keep listening. Slowly, over many books, many of the words will become meaningful from the context in the book. And when you get time, you can check meanings using your dictionary app on your phone. Of course, if you're reading using a Kindle or a Kindle app, then the meaning is right there for you to see. That would be a great option for any reader. Each minute you put into reading will pay rich dividends throughout life for you. You may have already intuited from what I was saying so far that I'm advising you to read books in English. If not, I say clearly now, read books in English. I'm no Anglophile. I'm not in love with the English speaking world. The reason I'm asking you to read books in English is because that's the language in which most new books are published. Very few good books in English get translated into Hindi or any other Indian language. That does not mean you should keep yourself off information that's available in English. If that's the language that lets you get exposed to the most information now, then you should just read books in that language. And the more you read in English, the better your written and spoken language will also become. the better your ability to communicate in English, the more your chances in life anywhere in the world as of now and probably for the rest of the century. So please start reading and get your kids to read. If you take a concerted effort, you can make this a habit in a year or even less. And then this habit will ensure that you're never bored ever in your life. Whenever you feel like bored, you can start reading. And that'll transport you to a virtual world. A well read India would be a very powerful India. Do what you can to make our country well read. Do your bit to make a kid in your household or a neighborhood kid a good reader. If each of you do this, we can create a citizenry that's second to none. I've added links to the description section of this video, which will take you to some excellent sites that recommend great books, blogs, podcasts, and tweets. Please use these. Please also feel free to message me if you have questions. I'm planning to start a club, um, essentially something like a book club. I'm calling it the Brain Expander under the India Searching channel. I'll let you guys know about this soon. The aim here would be essentially to get you guys to read a book or listen to a podcast, and then we'll discuss that in a future session. And it'll be interactive, it'll be on YouTube Live, and then we can save that onto a playlist under the India Surging channel. So future listeners can also watch the videos and understand what's actually discussed in each book, and they'll also get to know how we interacted on the content of that book, which will be very good. So if you're interested in joining the Brain Expander Club, please message me or comment under the video. Um, and hope you guys will help me make this a big success. Jai Hind. That's enough for today. Start reading.